Our deepest fear is we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. Beyond measure.
I'm gonna show you how great I am. Last night I cut the light off in my bedroom, hit the switch, was in the bed before the room was dark. I'm gonna show you how great I am. Only last week I murdered a rock, injured a stone, hospitalized a brick. I'm so mean I make medicine sick. I'm gonna show you how great I am.
What is going on, everyone? Cheers, everybody. Hope you had a great long weekend over Labor Day. With that, let's just jump right into it. Got another outtake for this one. If you guys have been watching from the beginning, you saw I went live with my stupid face just boop. Anyways, I'll get this one day. Maybe. I do have probably my D-Liber here. Let's check. Hello, Mr. D-Liber, whoever you are. Cheers to you. I did just get my Redheaded Stepchildren Rumble chat up. So, Rumblers, if you're here, you can chat. Chat me. It's not going to show up in the overlay like this. Not going to show up like this for the Rumblers, unfortunately, but it is what it is. Tonight, talking about stop feeding the voting machine monster. What do I mean by that? Stop voting and cancel your voter registration if you're registered to vote. Why do I say that? If you've already filled out a government form, I would usually say, hey, don't fill out another one. The whole reason for canceling, which I'm in the process of, it's on I haven't done it yet, but I am doing it, and I promise, okay? And hold me to account for that. Be like, Josh, have you canceled your voter registration? Because I can't sit here and preach at you and then not do it myself. But I will be doing it this week, hopefully. I just get distracted. Hey, Google, remind me every day at 1 p.m. to cancel voter registration.
Sure, I'll remind you every day at
Okay,
1 p.m.
cool. Now I won't forget, hopefully. But I'll let you guys know when it's done, okay? And the whole reason, it's not so that the government, because they're going to keep records of you anyways. They're a bunch of liars and scumbags and bureaucrats and ne'er-do-wells. So they already have your information. There's no way that you can sue the government so that they will no longer have your information. Even if they say they will delete it, don't trust them. They won't. I mean, why would they? It's power. Knowledge is power. They're not going to give any power back to you. The reason I say cancel your voter registration is so that you have to go back through the process again when you will and are tempted to vote again. And you will be. Why do I say that? Go back and watch season 1 of my show here, which was under the title JD's 2 Cents. And you will see a guy with his cognitive dissonance head up his ass for Trump. All in for Trump. And just ignoring all the glaring issues. JFK documents. The COVID vaccine that he still to this day is so proud of. Oh, there's a whole laundry list. What else? His overinflated ego. And a lot of people say, oh, I don't care if he has a big ego. You know, I care if he's a good president or not. Oh, that's the other big one. The national slavery debt clock. Trump added to that in droves. Let's actually pull that up real quick. Like, I want you guys to see if there's any Trump supporters out there, MAGA supporters watching this, and there may be because X is my X channel, because I was one, and so I was following my ilk, right? Trump debt compared to other presidents. This is going to blow your mind, guys. And I knew this. That's why it's cognitive dissonance. Okay? Because it's a psychological disease where you, at some point, make a decision to turn the morality switch off in your mind and say, oh, I can ignore that because of this. It's the lesser of two evils. It's still evil. That's the whole point. It's still evil. So you can't look yourself in the mirror, call yourself a decent person, a moral person, if you're engaging in cognitive dissonance. You can't. And thank you, Brian Young, for bringing that to my attention again and gently, yet firmly, slapping me across the face with a hard dose of truth that I needed. I'm so glad you're back, sir. Because here's one example of the work you're doing not falling on deaf ears. You're awesome. Cheers. If you haven't checked out Brian's channel, he is The Disturbing Illusion on YouTube, as well as Here's the Deal on YouTube is his larger channel, which covers cop malpractice, which is rampant. Big shocker. And he is at High Impact Flicks. High Impact Flicks. H-I-G-H Impact Flicks here on X. Check him out. He's also on Facebook, but I'm not on Facebook, so I have no idea what he is on Facebook. But Brian Young is the whole reason I'm doing what I'm doing now. I consider him my mentor, whether he considers me a mentee or not. So I would love to have him on the show one day. Have a two-way interview, just, shoot the shit, chat it up, figure out where he got into this whole line of thinking, which is the real truth, and we'll get into all that later. But I would love to have you on the show, Brian, if you ever see this or hear it in the interwebs, that I want to have you on the show. The door's always open for you, sir. You don't even have to ask. Just set a time and date, and we'll do it. Cheers to you, sir. Okay. I don't want just Biden and Trump. I want, lots of presidents. This is a shitty chart. Where is it? Here we go. This one looks promising. We'll see. And then I'll put it up on the screen for you guys. Give me just a moment. Does this account for inflation? Doing this on the fly, guys, so sort of have dead air here. You know what? I'll just make an episode about it. Okay. Okay, Google. Add to the list called episode ideas.
What do you want to add?
Debts by U.S. presidents.
Got it. I added debts by his presidents to the list called episode ideas.
Close enough, stupid. She said debts as by presidents. Anyways. Or she. I call it a she. It. It's an it. It's a fucking computer. Okay. No, she sounds hot. But it's a fucking computer, Josh. Anyways, I'll get back to that, guys. I don't want to waste a whole bunch of time with dead air. So, yeah, that's basically my open tonight. Stop feeding the voting monster. Why do I call it the voting monster? You guys are probably out there, well, if you're a Trump supporter or a Harris supporter or don't support anyone but you're still planning on voting for somebody, first of all, you're not affecting real change. Your views are not the views of the people that you are checking little check boxes next to, unless you write in your own fucking name. Okay? That's it. Period. And if you write in your own name, good luck, right? That's an uphill battle for sure. I am not a no government, pure anarchist dude. Okay? I was at a time in my life, and then I grew up a little bit and realized, and not only that, I came to the true faith, which is Calvinism. It's known as Calvinism. I'm doing a bunch of episodes on this in the future if you're interested. I also have a dedicated channel that I will be working on soon. It's already open. There's just no content there. It's called Light in the Darkness. Okay? Because I don't want to clutter up this channel with a bunch of religious stuff and preaching at people, because that's a huge turnoff to people, the vast majority. And I get it. I understand that. So I'm not going to waste a bunch of time. I will speak about my own faith from time to time, though. I'm a Calvinist. I grew up Arminian under Arminianism, which is a slight twisting on the true gospel. Just enough that it's Satanism. But it's Satanism cloaked in the disguise of Christianity, and that's what you see everywhere in Western churches today. That's why I don't go to church anymore. That's why. Because even the quote-unquote Calvinist Reformed churches are just toothless these days. When's the last time you've seen a church out in the community doing good for the community? Like with their physical people, their physical congregation going out into the streets and proclaiming the gospel of Jesus Christ. I haven't seen it in a long time. And that is a true marker of a true church, one that does that. So that tells you how few true churches there actually are out there these days. So again, it's sort of in line with the voting thing. I'm not going to vote because I'm not going to align myself with cowards and people who are hell-bent on power and have zero disregard for me as an individual and my personal liberty and sovereignty. That's why I'm not voting anymore. So on the spiritual side, that's why I don't go to church right now. Because I'm not going to sit there and align myself with a bunch of cowards that glue their seat to a pew every week, listen to the preacher sit up there and drone about what we should be doing, and then they don't do it. Well, if you truly believe in what you're preaching, preacher, then you will encourage your congregation to actually obey those words that you're sitting up there proclaiming as the truth. Again, I digress. This is about voting, not feeding the voting monster, but it sort of goes hand in hand, right? An immoral act. Why is it an immoral act? Because it means you're subscribing to everything that you as an individual disagree with. I mean, you like liberty, right? You like freedom, right? Well, every time you cast a ballot, you're saying, fuck liberty, fuck freedom. I'm handing power over to these people who don't give two shits about that. And they use the Constitution as toilet paper. That's what you're doing when you vote. Don't kid yourself. Not just at the federal level either. The state level, the local level, all of it. Until we come together as we the people and there's drastic reforms in the government, I will never vote again. If the government today was the government that the founding fathers founded initially, I would vote. Sure. Because that's part of the process, right? But we glaringly have a federal government, especially, that is so bloated now that they could give two shits about the individual, which is we the people. We point the finger at the government, but guess what? There's three fingers always pointing back at us when we do that. And so we have to take responsibility as we the people that we're the ones who allowed this to happen over generations. Our parents fucked up, our grandparents fucked up, our great-grandparents fucked up. This all really started unfolding with the Industrial Revolution and Woodrow Wilson in 1913, the introduction of the income tax, and the introduction of the Federal Reserve, which all happened under Woodrow Wilson's watch, the most evil, sinister president in the history of the United States of America. A pure piece of shit. You think the presidents we have today are bad? I mean, this guy was just sadistic, and he hated the Constitution. He hated everything this country stood for, and he did everything in his power to take it down the wrong set of tracks. And in many, many ways, he was very, very successful. And then all the stuff that happened in the 20th century, just, it was a snowball effect, guys, from 1913, and here we are today. So most of us are sitting here today, and our entire lives, the vast majority of us now, all of us, it's 2024. I keep forgetting it's 2024. I mean, time flies. All of us weren't even born yet. So we were born into this lie. The lie of the Federal Reserve. The lie that we have to pay federal income taxes. The lie that we have to put license plates on our cars just to travel from A to B. So that we are literally prisoners and slaves in this huge cell we call a country. That's what it is. How many numbers do you have plastered to you? Your driver's license, social security number, passport if you have one, license plate on a car, your pet's being registered, which is attached to your name, so that's another number attached to you. That's just 5 right there off the top of my head I can think of. What do inmates at prisons wear on their chest? A number. You are a number in the eyes of the government, and they view you as an inmate in their system, because you are. And until we, the people, get together and say, I'm not going to be an inmate anymore, fuck you, government, we are reforming you, and we are destroying all these 3-letter institutions, and we are getting back to the foundation of this country and what the founding fathers envisioned it as. We're abolishing the Fed. We're abolishing income tax. And the list goes on. We're abolishing fiat paper currency, and we're getting back to the gold and silver standard, and we're only going to carry gold and silver currency. There's a thing called goldbacks out there. Check out goldbacks.com. I'll actually just pull it up and show it to you guys real quick, because this is really cool shit. Goldback. I think it's goldback.com. Let's see if this loads. Yep, that's it. Pull this. Oh, no, I don't need to pull it over there. So we go full screen. So here it is, guys. Oh, I forgot I had to restart my OBS because my camera wasn't working. Give me 1 sec. I'll capture it for you. Why is that not showing up? Technical difficulties. Let's see if it shows up here. Turd. Okay, bear with me, guys. I'm having issues here, obviously. This does. Ah, there we go. That refreshed it. There's the X feed. I'll leave that up because we're about to jump into the news. But I need to get this back. There we go. Okay, cool. So here's goldback.com. Goldback.com. Drop it in the chats for you, so it's handy. This is so cool, guys. Now, this is going to scare you. 1 gold back equals $5.16. Okay? So yeah, the exchange rate sucks right now. Why? Supply and demand. Fiat currency still holds. What does fiat stand for? Fake. It's fake currency. It's only based on trust. Meaning, the economy collapses, guess what happens to your fiat currency? It goes through the roof, becomes completely worthless. And this has happened in other countries, Venezuela being the most recent. where literally a loaf of bread one day cost 100 pesos, say, and the next day it was 100,000 pesos. Like the cost of a house or something, right? Ridiculous. And it happens time and time again with fiat currency because it's not backed in any substantial raw form, right? It's only based on trust and not an actual material thing that exists in nature. So gold backs, check it out yourself. But basically, these are actual gold pressed into bills, okay? And the higher your denomination, the more gold content it contains. You can actually melt them down into gold bullion if you wanted to. Very cool. So this solves the problem of having to carry a bunch of coinage around. Do you realize our original Constitution, without amendments, said that Congress was to mint coin money, to have oversight over that, to coin money. We were never intended to have paper money, but to carry around physical gold and silver on our person, and that's what we were to trade with. And that's still the supreme law of the land today, but that just shows you the contempt that the federal government has for the Constitution. Why? Because that Constitution exists to limit their power. So of course they have contempt for it. That's human nature, to have contempt for something that tries to limit you, right? And humans, or the government, is just a bunch of humans. That's what the government is. And when you tell some human being, you can't do this, guess what they're going to do? They're going to test the limits of that boundary. You know, just like a 2-year-old tests his limits when he turns 2. And yes, what do my parents know? I'm going to get my way. I'm going to raise hell until I get my way. The same, I mean, we're all like that as humans. What the Founding Fathers realized is that the only good outlet for that is when an adult man or woman is allowed to do whatever the hell they want. It's called liberty. That's why they made the Constitution the way it is. To limit government, because they knew government was going to come after you and come after me. So they have to limit the government, because the government doing its own thing is totally immoral and evil. But when an individual practices liberty and exercises their inalienable rights, that's a very good and a very moral thing, as long as it's a moral act. Anyways, I've had a very long open today, but as you can tell, I have a lot to say about this stuff. Go check out goldback.com. It's worth the while. If we, the people, decided to adopt goldbacks overnight, guess what? The Federal Reserve dissolves. It's gone. This would solve so many of our problems. And then all the businesses nationwide would be forced to accept this as the new currency. Worldwide, actually, because the the reserve currency for the world still is the dollar, the US dollar today. And it would solve all the, not just the currency issues and the Federal Reserve issues, but maybe even a bigger deal, it would solve the military-industrial complex problem. Because that's all run by petrodollar, trading oil for dollars. You take out the dollars, now you can't trade the oil for dollars. This puts money back into the hands of we the people, where we control it. The government has no say about it. Okay? So I need to do a whole episode on currency because it's a huge deal. Okay, Google. Add to the list called episode ideas. She's being stupid. It's being stupid. Okay, Google. Add to the list called episode ideas.
What do you want to add?
Goldbacks and all the problems it would solve.
Sure, I added those 3 things to the list called
3 things.
episode ideas.
I'll figure it out on the back end, but that'll be a future episode coming up very soon, guys. Okay, so stay tuned. Let's see, we got about 5 minutes left, just under 5 minutes, 4.5 minutes left in the episode. I hope you like my new clock down there. I worked hard on that. The website is still a work in progress, workforliberty.com. You can still go check it out. Oh, that reminds me, let me pull up the website real quick so you can see that. I did add some glassware to the store. So I want you guys to see that. Oh, that's the old image for JD's 2 cents, which I still have that glass. I might auction it off one day. We'll see. It's the only one in the world that exists right now. Unless you order one. Wink, wink. Oh, you can't anymore, though. See? I already took it down. But yeah, I got the American flag mugs, a large logo that you can also get if you would like. And then for my Canadian friends up north, cheers to you guys. I'm glad you're here, and I am going to open up. The X Space is already open for anyone who wants to hop in there from Canada. That's the easiest way for you guys to chat here on the show. Cheers, eh? But I made you guys Canadian mugs too, or glasses, I should say. Small logo and large logo with the upside down tattered Canadian flag. So I hope you guys enjoy that. I will be making shirts and a whole bunch of stuff, but it takes time, as you are probably aware. Anyways, enough of the plugs. Oh, and a shirt store, a new dedicated shirt store as well. I'm working on all that behind the scenes, guys. So look out for that. With that, we'll jump into a little news, and then I will open up the show. 72072 cents if you want to drop your 2 cents, either live by chatting on the phone. You can hop into the X Space if you want to chat that way. You can leave a text message if you want to do that. And as always, the chat. Chat it up at 8:30. And it pops up just like this. If you're on YouTube, DLive, and X, all your chats will show up there. They should. Rumblers, sorry, your redheaded stepchildren, but I still do have your live chat screen up here, so I can see when you chat in. And I will reply accordingly. Also, if you have links of stuff that related to this, and you want to send links, go ahead and send them. I'll review them real quick and throw them into the show for everyone to enjoy. This is your show. I'm just the host. Remember that. Just don't be a dick, okay? And by being a dick, I mean shitting in the punch bowl. You're allowed to yell. You're allowed to cuss. You're allowed to get angry. You're allowed to cry. You're allowed to be a human being, in other words. Just don't be the guy that comes to the party and ruins it for everyone. You know what I'm saying? Fair enough, right? Okay. So with that, we only have about a minute left. I'm just going to go ahead and open up I'll scroll through the news here for a little bit. About, I don't know, I'll give it 5 minutes or so. So I see that I have 2 people here. See where they're from. I have my loyal D-Liver, and then I have one on X right now. So either one of you, if you want to drop a chat or call in 720-72 cents, 720-722-3687. Just use your phone. Simple as that. And you can text into that same number, and I'll get the text, and we'll talk that way. So, with that, everybody, let's hop into the news. I'll hang out for just a little while longer, and if no one engages, we'll wrap it up. Okay, the news. Sorry, I'm just getting my windows back. There we go. We do this, so it looks the way it should. Elon Musk posted this. Someone has done a thing. Are they on our side? Yes, then it's fine. No, then bastard. Ha ha ha, you're so funny, Elon. Not everything can be solved by a, what is this even called? Flowchart? That's what it's called? Flow sheet? Something like that. Let's see what these notifications are that I got. Carrie liked my reply. What was my reply to? This should be interesting. What's something that quietly went away without anyone really noticing? And I put our liberty, rights, and freedom. I like that reply too, Carrie. Thank you, Carrie, for the like. I appreciate that. Gonna ignore that racist. Brian over at here's Brian, High Impact Flicks. I'll plug him again. Go check out his channel and his content, guys. It's good stuff. Really liked your music video, Brian. Very well done, sir. I can tell you put a lot of effort into that. Okay, Brian said, very thankful there are people out there who understand all this. Just a Thought said, Americans don't vote based on their principles, they vote based on their fears. Well said. It is an emotional act, not a rational one. Oh, very good. And that's exactly what the ruling class wants. You're on point so far. Just a Thought. I'm going to follow you because I like what I'm hearing so far. And we'll get back to, oh, you're sort of cute too. Hey, Just a Thought, I'm single. Just saying. You're probably married because you're a smart woman and you're attractive. That's very hard to find these days. Okay, Americans don't vote based on their principles. They vote based on their fears. It's an emotional act, not a rational one, and that's exactly what the ruling class wants. The population is so terrified that they forgo logic, critical thinking, and self-preservation. In their desperation, they place their trust in their predators. Wow. You are so spot on. This is so well articulated. They ignore the red flags, the lies, and the obvious. They ignore history and reality itself. Cognitive dissonance at its finest. We flip that switch, but then the brain is turned off. Their fear solidifies their fate. They willingly hand their power to their oppressors. Damn, girl. You go on. Keep preaching. They defend their oppressors. They empathize with them. When your oppressors have no empathy whatsoever, I'll just interject that. They believe they are their saviors. It's a cult. It's a religion, guys. The United States worships all-powerful government. Forget King Jesus. Forget him, right? Who's that guy? I'll go to church every Sunday. Church that looks like a concert. And, oh, I felt the Holy Spirit because I felt good feelings inside while I was there. It's a synagogue of Satan. Run the other way as fast as you can. I digress. Let's get back to this awesome, awesome writing by Just a Thought. Their fear solidifies their fate. They willingly hand their power to their oppressors. They defend their oppressors. They empathize with them. They believe they are their saviors. But the powerful exist based on a farce. True. They maintain their dominance with lies, propaganda, and manipulation. That sound familiar? Both Trumpers and Harris supporters out there? Be honest with yourself. Are you being manipulated? Do you think Donald Trump is a manipulator? Do you think Kamala Harris is a manipulator? If you say no to that, you really have to have your head checked. You really do. Nothing about their power is real. Once enough of us recognize this and stop consenting to this charade, they will lose that power and we will get it back. She says we will gain it. We will get it back, Just a Thought, because we used to have it. We, the people, used to rule in this country. You know, 150 years ago even. So we'll get it back. Once we recognize this, there will be no stopping us. We are far too many. And hopefully not too far gone. Hopefully. We can still get this back as long as we're still carrying our guns and blood's still pumping through our veins and we're still breathing. We can get it back, guys. But it's up to us, we the people. Again, we point the finger at government, but 3 fingers are pointing back at us because the buck stops here. But it only stops here if we all get together. And not all of us. I think statistically speaking, 10% of the population gets together. That's about 33 to 35 million people. And we could take the country back with those kind of numbers, if you know what I mean. It doesn't have to be violent either. We just show up in Washington, D.C., and we have a rotating, permanent petition to redress our grievances until they start listening. What's wrong, Ego? Your brother hit you with his weapies? It's okay, big boy. We're almost done. Okay, with that, guys, I think with my black lab getting upset at his brother, we're going to wrap it up for the night. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for the 2 that showed up tonight. I really appreciate it. For all of you who show up on the back end and like my content, please like, share, subscribe. Hit that bell notification icon on YouTube so that you know when I am live. And with that, guys, every 8 p.m. Eastern, every day, let me try this again. Every weekday, Monday through Friday, except for federal holidays, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, I will be here. Will you? I hope so. Cheers, everyone. I'm going to wrap up with a positive that I wrap up with every night. I try to remember every night. Now it disappeared on me. 99% of things that you worry about will never happen. It's one of my favorite passages in the Bible where Jesus is talking about, don't worry about tomorrow. Today has enough worry of its own, and don't even worry about today. God has you. Whether you're a believer or not, God has you because you're here, you're breathing, you're living, and that's because of Him. So rest in that assurance that you're here for a reason, you're here for a purpose, and enjoy life. Life is meant to be enjoyed. Quit having these people that Just a Thought's talking about, these fucking immoral, evil people that have no empathy for anything or anyone, and all they care about is themselves and their shallow husk of an excuse of a human being. Quit letting them pollute your mind and enjoy your life here and now. Okay? With that, guys, have a wonderful evening. God bless, and cheers.